Alright, today we're going to do some maintenance on here. We're going to do all these gaskets on the intake side, and we might as well do the world famous oil filter housing / oil cooler gaskets, because they leak on every car. So we got some stuff. I got some FCP. We got the bolts for the oil filter housing, and we got the bolts for the oil cooler. And we got the oil cooler gasket, oil filter housing gasket. This is for the intake manifold gaskets. We got that, the oil cooler O-rings. We got the throttle body gasket and the charge pipe O-ring, or charge pipe gasket. I think that's what they label it as online. We got the oil pressure sensor, and then we got the coolant temperature sensor. Now, first thing you want to do, take off the cowl. Take off the engine cover if you got one, but mine, this car didn't come with one, but eventually I'll put one on. So take off your engine cover, but to take off the engine cover, you gotta take off the cowl. So you pop off the corners. Everybody knows how to do this stuff, it's easy. The corners, the tab, that's with the tabs, you know, 2 tabs left and right. And this sensor you can unplug. I left it unplugged from last time because I know I was about to go back here and sensor on the other side of this guy. I already took them away, so make sure both sensors is off. If you have your bolts, they always strip, because people in the shops like to use impact gun and they strip them because it's plastic, but I think it's 8mm, and boom, cowl is off. Now, first thing to do is, if you got an intake box, you can take it off. I got BMS intake, so I use a flathead, unscrew them. The diverter valves. And take the flathead. You know what? Turn the lock all the way. Sometimes you can use a flathead and kind of pry it down. There we go. And turn to the other one. That one is kind of easy. Supposed to be a T-socket right here. I think maybe T27, but mine's missing, so I'm not worry about that. Then right here at this side of the charge pipe at the end, get another flathead and screw that. Cold side. You should make sure it's loose enough. Up, the clamp is moving. Yep, that's all we need. Now for the clip right here, take your flathead, pop it off, pull up the clip. Now to get the map sensor out, there's a tab. Put your finger on it. Oh, this car has a JB chip. I never knew that. Wow. That's why it got a little kick in it. It's a JB chip. I haven't seen one of these in ages. Let me take it out for you guys. So this JB chip basically gives you more boost. It plugs into the map sensor. That's cool. And now you got the map sensor unplugged, diverter valves unplugged, and you want to take the vacuum line from right here underneath the charge pipe, goes into the back of the manifold, take that off. Now your charge pipe will be able to come off. You push that side down, and the back side, now you can pull it up. And you pull it right up. Charge pipe is out. So there's a sensor underneath here. I'm gonna squeeze the tab and push towards the back of the car. You want to push towards the firewall. Sensor unplugged. There's just one little tab on the bottom of it, so it's going to be in there like so. You just squeeze on the bottom right here. My pointer finger is. And that's off. Then the sensor right here. Another tab. You just lift up the tab, pull it out. Then the only thing next, or lastly, on the throttle body is a vacuum line. You squeeze the tabs and pull it. Squeeze the tab, top and bottom, and pull it off. Like so. Vacuum line's off. Now we could unscrew the intake manifold. So for the intake manifold, the bolts are 11 millimeters. I got 11 millimeter socket. What I do is I'm gonna just crack all of them.
Hey, be careful, you don't drop them. Wow, that one's a 12, so look, they already lost some bolts and replaced mismatch bolts. This stud is already loose. Wow, so the stud's coming off of the bolts.
This one isn't coming out. It's the whole stud. It's the whole stud. So sometimes when they get seized on there, oh, the stud was loose. So we're gonna put the stud back in later with the E-socket. So sometimes if they're seized, it'll stud and the nut will be seized and the whole stud will come out. But the tip, you can see, is the E-socket, so no biggie.
I like to do is I like to track them. Try to use a magnet to help push it up. Get the one up front. The sensor, what I like to do is I can plug the sensor out of the way. Get to the bolt so you don't cross thread or anything. Just take it out of the way to get the bolt. Bolt is in the front, so you can take that one out of the way.
I like to get them loose and kind of just fish them out, but can't find my magnet right now, so we're just gonna take them out. Hopefully nobody falls down. Get the rest of the nuts out.
This guy's a 12, so we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to find a 12 right now to take them out. I have another 11, put it in there, but 12 works too. This one wants to turn. Make sure that's a 12. Yep. Put a 12 in there. 12's out.
And now, I forgot to tell you, there's supposed to be a box underneath the intake manifold. All the wires go through. You're supposed to pull it back. There's like 2 clips on there, so you pull back the box. So you got 6 nuts and 1 bolt. We'll just take up over there. Look, now the intake manifold comes off. Make sure you clear these wires. Boom. Just like that. Easy peasy. And then move this tab right here on the vacuum line off of here. Just gotta pry it back. Intake manifold off. So what I was explaining, this you can just pull off the back of the intake manifold underneath it. You just pull it down. There's 2 tabs on each side. And then the vacuum line, you just have to just press this off. It's located right here. You just pull it off. Give it a nice good tug. And now we're gonna remove the throttle body. So the throttle body is a 10 millimeter. I have to just remove and diagnose position. Don't warp anything. Remember, this is plastic. more bolts. Voila. There goes my drill. So, we're gonna get some brake cleaner and we're gonna clean that.
Brake cleaner? It's gonna be perfect, but you want to get most of the gunk out. It's a lot of oil, carbon buildup. This is where the vacuum line goes. I have to spray through that too. I'm gonna spray the rag a little bit. Look at that, looks way better. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to get all the carbon buildup. So, open it up, get in between. Look at that. There we go. So now we cleaned it, we'll change the gasket. Get a pick tool. No smaller flathead if you have. Garbage. Flathead. Bring it around town. And we'll clean.
When you get the new one, it's gonna have ridges on there, so I like to line up the ridges with the bolts. See the ridge? Right here? It's 4 ridges, so I like to line them up with the bolt holes. Gasket changed. Now, get the charge pipe. I like to spray the nap sensor, basically clean it off. Wipe whatever excessive oil is on here. If you got leaky turbos, I get some oil in here. Now we're gonna change this gasket. Right now I'm inspecting the charge pipe. You wanna inspect the whole thing. Make sure you don't see any cracks on the charge pipe. They do crack. And you wanna check the rubber part to see if it's cracked too. You'll have a boost leak. These stock charge pipes like to leak air over time. Take the flathead. Pop up the O-ring. Close to the side. New O-ring. Put in the groove. Just press it all the way in. New O-ring installed. Charge pipes look good.
Let's clean everything. I don't want a messy, dirty, gunky car. Nice oil build up. Lose the horsepower.
Worried about that. Oh, this is best to use a pick tool to remove these gaskets. They're kind of really fine, but I said these gaskets wasn't that bad. But preventive maintenance, guys. I don't know what the previous owner changed. It did not change.
So we're changing all the gaskets I can think of.
Got new gaskets. Oh wow, these are nothing like the OEMs. See the OEMs, they have ridges on them. These FUB gaskets don't. Never knew that. I always use OEM, but we'll see how good these are. The ridges actually help you put them in because Manifold has ridges in them.
I got a problem, I'll go back to OEM, but I'm showing you guys how to change it. I prefer OEM, by the way. I've seen the turbo car, everything in there, OEM gaskets, there's a lot of pressure in there. These fit just as good as OEM, even though they don't have the ridges. That's a good fit. I like it too. touch them in, make sure they see it all the way in there. Fingers around them.
Okay. So all the gaskets on the intake side is finished and installed. So now we're gonna install everything. Before I install the manifold, we're gonna take our oil rag and we're gonna wipe down the motor so it could stick.
We're gonna wipe all this oil. Excessive oil. And yes, it's stick on there pretty good. No leaks. No boost leaks. No boost leaks.
Before we install the intake manifold, we're just going to put the throttle body back on. It's easier that way. So, the side with the sensor is going to go on this side and line up the bolts.
I gotta install that stud that I told you guys about before I put it on too. And make sure everything's put down properly. So the stud's gonna go on first.
I don't want to over torque it, so I'm going to use regular wrench and hand tighten first. I do it diagonally so it seats perfectly. You gotta tighten up from across the bolts from across each other. Just hand tighten it. I don't have any torque specs, but hand tighten. Now they're all hand tighten. I'm gonna torque them down. Too much effort. Alright, that's torqued down. Now we're going to get this stud, pull the nut off of the stud, and find the proper E-socket. So the stud's the E6. So I'm screwing the stud. Why does this feel like it's a little stripped? Let's see. It is a little stripped. Oh boy. That's why it came out. I cross-threaded this. I just took off the strip pieces. Hopefully this torques now without spinning.
It's not found smooth now. Put in the stud.
Alright, stud's torqued all the way back down. Let me give it one little more. It shouldn't come off. So to start off, I'm going to take off the oil cooler lines. If you don't have sports package in your car didn't have oil cooler installed, then you don't have to do this part. If you got the sports package or somebody installed this, you're going to have to take out the oil cooler. It's a 13 millimeter. There's one single bolt to hold both lines. Extract it. In a tight space. I'm going to change the two O-rings that go on the line. just gonna remove it first so we can get the front part of the housing off better. With the bolt loose, there's a bolt. Now it's kind of messy. Remove that. Get my oil rag. Put it underneath. Just push the lines down. Oh, that's a lot of oil. Catch the oil. Just wrap it around there. I'm gonna set this right here, like so. I'm gonna get another oil rag. Trying to catch everything because you don't want to get the belt saturated. Now we're gonna take an E-socket. This is an E12. They have 1, 2, and 1 at the bottom. 3 bolts. So I always like to start off with the harder bolt. So we're gonna start off with the guy that's underneath.
Like this guy. Those are done, but my hands are already dirty, so it doesn't matter.
That one out. And crack these 2 guys.
Like this guy.
Next one out. Lastly, the 3rd one. Last one out. Now this should be able to come off. Oh, big mess, big mess, big mess. Take this, we're gonna put it aside. No filter housing bolts. It's a different E-socket. E10. We got our E10. Got this guy. The second one is right here. This is why I didn't put back the intake manifold back on, because it's in the way. Got this guy. And put the new ones in and put the proper ones in. See, this is the top one. The oil cooler, all bolts are the same size, so you don't gotta worry about that. And this one right here at the side, towards the back of the housing, on the firewall side, a little bit shorter. And remove the Mickey Mouse holes. Really trying to avoid that, but rather be safe than sorry. That piece is like $25, so we're not gonna strip a bolt and be here all day for $25, $30 part. This is 2 10s and remove the Mickey Mouse holes. This goes, the bottom of it goes to the thermostat, and it's kind of annoying changing the whole holes, so you might as well upgrade it anyway. And just put the Mickey Mouse fitting on the new holes. Whenever the time comes to change that hose down there. So 10 millimeters. You guys are gonna learn another DIY in the same video. That's removed. Oh, I lost a bunch of coolant. See, this is what I meant. This always breaks when you remove it. That's broken, so we're gonna have to get a new one. Set this aside. It never fails. Unless that hole been changed before, it always breaks. No way around it. This bolt was really tricky. Now, this is a short bolt. Once I get this off, I'm gonna see if I go to my local AutoZone and get that Mickey Mouse fitting. Short bolt removed. Now the oil filter housing comes right off. I like to leave the holes and just bend it because I don't like removing these BMW coolant hoses too often. You need a cleaner rag. Make sure you wipe the oil from the coolant side because you got coolant and oil going through here. Move it. Coolant goes through here, and these two holes, oil flows through it. So I'm gonna wipe this off and clean it up with brake cleaner and remove these two gaskets.